introduce our speaker, Sri Satyendra Kumar ji, who will deliver the lecture.
सत्येंद्र कुमार जी हेलो, हमारे बीच में सत्येंद्र कुमार जी आज उपस्थित हैं, जो कि हेलो जो कि डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में एम्बेसडर रह चुके हैं और बहुत ही क्वालिफाइड हैं। लर्निंग प्रोसेस उनका आज भी कंटिन्यू है और पहले भी उन्होंने नेशनल इसमें एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के ऊपर नेशनल NEP आजकल काफ़ी डिस्प्यूटेड है। साउदर्न स्टेट्स में एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के ऊपर जो है 3 लैंग्वेज फार्मूलाज के ऊपर काफ़ी डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है। उसके बारे में आज हमें थोड़ा सा बताएंगे, थोड़ा प्रकाश डालेंगे, सो दैट वी विल नो व्हाट इज द एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, क्योंकि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है सोसाइटी की, खास तौर से हमारे कोई उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहा है सोसाइटी में हमारी, पर्टिकुलरली इन रिलेशन टू अवर SC/STs, क्या उसका फर्क पड़ेगा। और क्योंकि हमारा जो बाबा साहब का मिशन था एजुकेट करने का, और हम उसमें अभी तक नहीं उसको पूरा कर पा रहे हैं, तो इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा उस पर थोड़ा प्रकाश डालेंगे। मैं कहूँगा, रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा सत्येंद्र जी से इसको रीड प्लीज।
Sri Satyendra Kumar ji to deliver his lecture on national education policy.
Chief Guest Justice KG, Honorable President of the Society, Dr. Urmila Devi, our Secretary General Dr. Nawal, all our esteemed colleagues and eminent invitees to the Society's Foundation Day. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to say a few words on NEP 2000 to 2020. I have given the title to the lecture, Opportunities and Challenges of NEP 2020 for Marginalized Indians. The NEP affecting the lives of the lay persons. My only claim of knowing something about the education is that I was an educator before joining the Indian Foreign Service. I was a teacher for 2 years, and then maybe because of that influence and my love with the education, my 2 daughters have joined academics rather than the civil services. Okay, so NEP 2020 is the third event in the major policy making of independent India. First NEP was declared in 1968 as a result of Kothari Commission's report, and most of us in the room are, I think, the product of the provisions and policies which were given to this country by the first education policy of India. And that particular policy, as I read into it, was more focused on national integration, promoting traditions and culture of India, peace, technology in education, teachers training. These were the major recommendations and major outcome of that particular policy, and it actually, in my own personal opinion, impacted the lives of Indians in general, and the people of marginalized section were benefited, and I feel I am one of them who could hardly afford, whose family could hardly afford good education, but the provisions that were made in that policy for the affordability, the universality of education, focus on access to the education, it made lives of many. And it's a continuous process. Same thing was carried forward by the education policy in 1986. Again, it was actually, it made the previous policy broad-based. Every policy is a product of its time. So it was a continuity of an ideology of a party and a family. So they continued with that kind of vision for India and added certain more principles. And that's included scope for better opportunities for the gender. Those schools where the fee for the girl child was made free, and free books and free uniforms and all those kind of facilities were introduced in that, and modernization of education through computers was also introduced with that policy. Now we are in the midst of the NEP 2020, not the midst, actually the first few formative years. It was declared in 2020, and by 2025 certain targets were to be met. In today's discussion, I would rather call it a discussion than a lecture. We will go through first on the vision of the policy briefly, because it's a long document. In fact, the document runs into 70 pages and a lot of sections are there, but we'll focus on two things. One is the school education, its vision, restructuring, regulatory changes, and what provisions are there for finance, funding, and whether it creates, what changes affect the society in general, and whether it creates some opportunities for the marginalized sections of society, or in fact create some challenges. And it's our duty for the people, the seniors in the room, to understand it, assess it, and take it to the next generations and make their career, and at the same time implement the vision document of the policy makers. So the focus of the stated purpose of this policy is revamping pedagogy, curriculum, and regulatory framework. That is one of the things. These are the essential tools of any policy. Another stated goal is career progression through research, merit-based appointments of the faculties, higher education boards to have academic and administrative autonomy, light but tight regulatory framework, institutional restructuring and consolidation, large multidisciplinary universities, and the fragmentation of higher education. Bring the vocational education within the same and bring in, make it multidisciplinary basically. So, the policymakers feel that there is too much of attention diversion in the existing policy, where very early we choose very specific field of studies. So multidisciplinary education system will give you a well-rounded personality to the students. This is one of the vision. And the policy itself says that Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations are one of the drivers, where the inclusion and people of lower strata of the society, the people who have lower income groups, all those people should be benefited, as the SDGs say. And I made some research into it. And in fact, what happens, the 10-point agenda of the SDGs has actually been kind of copy-pasted in the policy document. So this is influenced by the UN set goals so much in this policy. But frankly speaking, I'll try to be brief also at the same time. At the same time, there are actually structuring of school and higher education system. This point will need a little bit of elaboration, because this structurings, one in the school section, it's very, very important point is that early education, early childhood education, and the foundation literacy and numeracy, that is the focus. And because of that, I'll come to that point in my details note. Whereas 1968 and 1986 policy was called 10+2 policy, this is 5+3+3+4 restructuring, where early childhood education is for 5 years, first 3 years. The reason being that students, people coming from the lower strata of the society, don't get that opportunity of early child education. In the private school, the parents who can afford it, they send their children to those kind of play schools, etc. Now, as per this policy, universally, everybody is to receive the universal education through Anganwadis, through ashrams, through government-sponsored schemes, which will be technically assisted by the government's infrastructure, good schools, drinking water, cluster schools. All these facilities will be created. This is what the policy envisages. And then next stage is 3 years of 2 grades after those early education of foundation literacy and numeracy, then to grade 1 and grade 2. Next is the preparatory stage of 3 years, and next is then middle school and senior secondary school. Aim is to lessen the burden on the students of entrance examinations and board examinations में उस weight को कम करें. Then public financial support. This envisages, it says, grant-based model to be converted into financial autonomy. So actually, I have come to the higher education thing first, then those 2 provisions which I said about HEIs, those were for higher education institution. We will come to that. That is another restructuring of colleges and universities, deemed university, etc. वो सब change करेंगे. ये मैं अभी when I come to higher education, then I'll come to that. So we were on the policy vision document actually. So it says the purpose is an education system by 2040 that is second to none in the world. These are theoretical aspect of the policy. Revamping all aspects of education structure, including regulation and governance, creative potential of each individual, social, ethical and environmental capacities, ज्ञान, प्रज्ञान और सत्य उसके ऊपर फोकस करना, उस तरह की पॉलिसीज को बनाना। हेरिटेज जो 68 की पॉलिसी में भी था, 86 की पॉलिसी में भी था, हेरिटेज को प्रमोट करना, स्कूल करिकुलम वहीं से उसको इंट्रोड्यूस करना, highest standards of multidisciplinary teaching as was done by the Indian institution in the ancient time. This is the new inclusion in this policy. ये जो हमारी गुरुकुल की व्यवस्था थी वो अपने आप में मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी हुआ करती थी, उसी में सब कुछ, उसी में शिक्षा, निरुक्त शास्त्र, सबकी विद्याएं जो कहा दी जाती थी, वो प्रोविजन अभी स्कूल एजुकेशन में भी मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी वे में, जिसमें साइंस भी होगी, टेक्नोलॉजी भी, न्यूमरेसी भी होगी, लिटरेचर भी होगा, आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट भी होगी, वोकेशनल स्टडीज भी होंगी। आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट का जो इंट्रोडक्शन है वो पहले हम 10+2 लेवल पे कर रहे थे, अब उसको हम स्कूल लेवल में ग्रेड 6 to 8 में ले जाएंगे, विल कंटिन्यू टू 10+12 एंड देन इनटू जब हायर एजुकेशन में जाते हैं तो 4-year डिग्री कोर्स में भी करेंगे। तो इस तरह का प्रोविजन ये पॉलिसी एनविसाज करती है। Then how to make an institution a good institution where student feels welcomed and cared for. Again, it's a theoretical aspect. Policy doesn't say how we will do it, but it's our job to find out what will be the approach of the government of India. We can ask questions. We can ask questions through RTI. We can ask questions from the institutions. And these days it's a knowledge society, so it's easy to. Then holistic development of students, freedom to choose one's own path according to their own talent. Again, this is the theoretical aspect of the school education and higher education, art, and between curriculum and no difference between extracurricular, curricular and curriculum. When the policy emphasizes that don't call it extracurricular. It's part of your curriculum. The sports is part of your curriculum. Vocational studies is a part of your curriculum. All then, of course, this comes from sustainable development goal. Again, critical thinking, logical discussion making, that has to be promoted, starting from the middle school and taking it to the 4-year degree courses and the higher education courses, where again the plans are कि बहुत ज़्यादा specified studies ना हो, multidiscipline की हो, सबको सब तरह की knowledge मिले. Extensive use of technology in learning, synergy in the curriculum, teachers and faculty to be at the heart of learning process, and as I said earlier, it's again says light but tight regulating framework. Again, it's not been explained too much, but this is a phrase where main government wants to does not want to control the policy too much, but that is to be controlled by the experts themselves. This is the idea behind it. Ensure transparency and resource efficiency, autonomy and good governance, and employment, outstanding research, continuous review of progress. These are the vision of the policy. Coming to the structure that I have already explained a little bit early, that is foundational course 3 to 6 years, education through Bal Vatikas, Anganwadis, ashrams, etc. 6 to 8 years, that is classes 1 and 2, preparatory 8 to 11 years, classes 3 to 5, middle 11 to 14, classes to 6 to 8, and secondary 14 to 18 years, classes 9 to 12, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. This is new in this policy. This is the restructuring part of the policy. Then foundational development पर बहुत ज़्यादा stress दिया गया है इस policy में. एक्चुअली पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट के पहले 5 पेजेस अगर आप कहें तो फाउंडेशनल डेवलपमेंट एंड लिटरेसी और न्यूमरेसी के ऊपर फोकस्ड है सब। मैं उसमें से मोटे मोटे प्रोविजन आपको बता दे रहा हूँ। दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी इज टू बी गिवन universally to every child, to all particularly marginalized ones. Time frame for this has been set to 2030. Again, I made some queries myself, how much progress this has made. One of my relatives was working as BEO in Haryana. So that was kind of a model I had taken. So she used to say, you know, आज कोई मीटिंग है, आज भी मीटिंग है, आज बड़ा मीटिंग है, बहुत काम है, बड़ा ये. So then I asked her what kind of work and what is the progress in terms of NEP. So she told me, yes, the infrastructure has been created, schools and building and teaching aids, teachers training, education policy makers, BEO, DEO, everybody is busy working with this. 2030 is the time frame for completing this whole process, but the process is going on as per the information available through the documents and as per information which I tried to collect from the field. As per information, the work is in progress. As I said, Anganwadi workers and teachers for early childhood program are being trained and infrastructure is being created. Play-based activities are being created in those schools. And there is the role of the states as well. Central government will give directions and funds under Samagra शिक्षा अभियान एंड PM श्री योजना, ये जो अभी तक बेसिक फाइनेंसिंग के टूल्स हैं जो पब्लिक डोमेन में मैं ढूंढ पाया, और अभी सारा फोकस अभी तक उधर ही है। समग्र शिक्षा अभियान का बजट एलोकेशंस में देखा तो वो अच्छा था, लेकिन कुछ एक वो मैं आई विल कम टू दैट पॉइंट कि कुछ सेक्टर्स में unfortunately the allocations have been reduced and reduced very drastically from 240 crores to 0.69 crores in a certain that is higher education. Then NCERT to develop a former pedagogical framework, special attention to backward districts. This is where I can say, there's opportunities for the marginalized section of the society have been created, but how these activities will be funded have not been specified in the policy document. For that, one has to tap other sources for information. Nutrition and health. Again, this has been recommended that in addition to midday meal, the morning breakfast should also be given in the early childhood phases of the schooling, because good nutrition and good health, this is the idea, promotes learning. Health checkups and immunizations in school. हमें याद है हमारे टाइम में स्कूल में हुआ करता था, when we were very young kids, and I still carry those memories कि measles को भी हमें वहाँ लगा, और बहुत सारे इस तरह के जो immunization हुआ, and it was a good development in the hindsight. dropouts after grade 5 to grade 8, ये एक प्रॉब्लम थी, इसको एड्रेस करने का इस पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट में, दैट इज विद रेफरेंस टू स्पेशली डिसएडवांटेज्ड सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, जिसमें एससीज एसटीज ज्यादातर है, तो जिनका अफोर्डेबिलिटी नहीं होना शायद एक कारण है कि उनका एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी है, चाइल्ड लेबर भी है, वो सारे इश्यूज हैं जिसकी वजह से उनको स्कूल से ड्रॉप आउट होना पड़ता है। इस इशू को एड्रेस करने का इस डॉक्यूमेंट में प्रोविजन दिया गया है। और एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि इन सिस्टम में अभी वो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की स्टेज में है, civil society's role in these institutions. So people like you and me can go to the school or to the policy makers and can tell them, okay, I'll be your master instructor, this is my expertise, so I want to share with the school. So इसमें vocational के भी लोग और people whosoever has any kind of skill. So this is one thing which has been provided for in this policy document, which is again personally to me is a good thing, and in the context of developing country like us, it's a good initiative. Infrastructure deficiency to be addressed, problem of the children of migrant workers to be solved with the participation of civil society. This is another thing. But how those details are not delineated. So government expects the civil society to go help and take care of the disadvantaged sections of the society. Overhauling curriculum for making it more engaging. Formal and non-formal education models for society and socially and economically disadvantaged people. Open distance learning, which was there in 1986 policy also. National Institute of Open Schooling. There is one organization which is being created, NIOS. State Institute of Open Schools. एक जिसमें नेशनल स्कूल्स होंगे और स्टेट्स अपने फंड से इस तरह के स्कूल्स खोलें, इसका प्रोविजन है। पब्लिक फिलैंथ्रोपिक पार्टनरशिप का रिक्वेस्ट है। इट्स ऑल दीज थिंग्स फॉर, एंड आई विल बी फ्रैंक अबाउट इट, ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर एक्चुअली फॉर वन रीजन, दैट एक्चुअली फाइनेंसिंग एस्पेक्ट of education and making it affordable or making it universally affordable, that this policy lacks. That I will say with the commitment as per the information which I gathered from this document. And when I try to make search these days, you can, I didn't ask Grok, but yes, I did my own research, and there one can say it's like, हिंदी में कहावत है कि वो हाथ धोने वाली बात है कि भाई आप देख लो, पब्लिक देख लो, पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप देख लो, तो उस तरह के प्रोविजन जब तक नहीं होंगे, मेरा ये मानना है कि ये चैलेंज है और ये चैलेंज रहेगा, और ये पॉलिसी कंप्लीट होनी है 2030 तक, तो तब तक इसको कैसे एड्रेस किया जाए, दिस इज the responsibility of organizations like this, of the civil society, of the people who are intelligent, intellectual enough, and who want to take up cause of the society. This onus is on them, how to ask the government and how to ask for the, basically is the question of right, how to make it a question of right, financing and funding. This has to be addressed. Then curriculum pedagogy reforms, essential learning and critical thinking, which is again SDG, Sustainable Development Goals agenda, make education a tool of critical thinking, not the rote learning. We in India are known to be promoting the rote learning. So this is going to be addressed in this policy document. Integration of sports, teamwork, responsibilities, etc. Flexibility in course choices at the school level. No extracurricular, no curriculum, all inclusive course, humanities, sciences, arts. One problem that has been identified that we try to specialize too early. हमारे time में था class 9th. I can share a small story in between that when I came to class 9th, after doing okay, so after doing 8th standard, हमारे ज़माने में 9th में ही होता था कि भाई अब सब्जेक्ट चूज कर लो कौन सी साइंस पढ़नी है. तो आई रोट इन माई फॉर्म साइंस, बायोलॉजी, मैथमेटिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, जो भी साइंस लेना है. आई केम होम, माय फादर आस्क्ड मी, भाई क्या ले रहे हो, क्या सब्जेक्ट्स. मैंने बोला मैं साइंस बायोलॉजी. क्या करोगे? मैंने कहा डॉक्टर बनूंगा. कहते डॉक्टर तो जब बनेगा जब फिजिक्स में पास होगा. पहले अपना फॉर्म वापस लाओ. And he said, history, geography, economics, English, you have to write civil services. So that is very early specialization. It's not well-rounded. And I'm going to conclude. I've taken, I think, a lot of time. The higher education, again, for another day, we will. मैंने मोटी बातें उसकी करनी है. तो उसमें भी है ये well-rounded personality बनाना और civil services exam को well-rounded बनाना. This is the base. This is the start. Because we need the people, the policy maker, those who actually run the country, the steel framework of India, as we call it. So वो भी अगर well-rounded personality से आएंगे. This was my reservation about the examination post 79 and before 2011, which I shared once with the expert who was the advisor to the Prime Minister at that time. And he told me, Satinder, what you are saying, much of it is going to be implemented. And it was done in 2011. That was making the IAS officers well-rounded. Anyway, so I think it's time constraint, and I'll stop at that. It's for this room to think where are the opportunities and where are the challenges and how to address them and keep discussing. Thank you.